Good morning once more. This time now you're going to look at the Luba kingdom because Lambas migrated from the Luba kingdom. And in order for us to have a clear understanding about the Lambas, we need to go back to the Luba kingdom and have that as a base. The Luba kingdom was situated in the Upemba Depression in the current Democratic Republic of Congo, and the archaeological findings they indicate that this kingdom was inhabited continually from the 4th and 5th centuries. But all this time, the Luba people had no king until a man named Kongolo Mwamba became the first Luba king. Kongolo Mwamba had two sisters. The name of the sisters were Lubulanda and Mabele. Now it came to happen that one day these sisters of Kongolo Mwamba came across a certain stranger, a man who was tall, dark, and handsome. His name was Kilue Mbindi Ilunga. They took this man to the king, and after the king had an interview with him, the king found that this man had a lot of talents. He was a war strategist, he was a healer, and he was a prophet. Now the king incorporated this man into his army. Now, in course of time, this man married Kongolo Mwamba's two sisters. He married both sisters of Kongolo Mwamba. Now, the reputation of this man started to overshadow the king. People started to like this man very much because he was kind, he had good manners, he used to help people. Unlike the king who was rude, he was impolite, he was mistreating the people. Now, for that, the king started feeling jealous toward this man, and the king started to plot to kill him. Now, because the king, this man had married two sisters of the king, they alerted him and he fled. He left the country for good. Now, before he left, he had two children, two sons in both sisters. In Ulanda, he had the son whose name was Kalala, and in Mabele, he had the son whose name was Shibinda. So the man had gone, and then the boys also started to grow. They grow. When they reached a certain stage, the boys also were talented. Kalala was a warrior. Shibinda was a hunter. So they started helping people out, just like their father. And also the people started to like these boys so much. And also the reputation of these boys started to overshadow the reputation of the king. So the king tried multiple times to kill them, but he never succeeded until these boys fled. They ran away. They went looking for their father in the east. And eventually they found their father. They narrated what was happening, how their uncle treated them. Then his father organized an army and they went to fight Kongolo Mwamba. They found him, they killed him, and the Kalala Ilunga proclaimed himself king of the Lubas. Kalala Ilunga became the second Luba king. Now, as for his brother Shibinda, he left the country for good. And as he was going, he found himself in the Lunda kingdom. Now, in the Lunda kingdom, let me explain a bit about that. There was a king whose name was Nkong. He had two sons and a daughter. The two sons were good for nothing men because they could even fight for the inheritance of the kingdom whilst their father was still alive. So the father was not pleased with them. So he gave the instruments of power to the daughter, whose name was Luyenji. This frustrated the boys and they left to form their own kingdoms. One went and formed the Lubale kingdom, the other one went formed the Chokwe kingdom. Now, when Shibinda Ilunga reached this kingdom, he met this daughter of the king, Luenge. Luenge had difficulties in finding a suitable man amongst his people. When he saw this Luba prince, it was love at first sight. He liked him, and eventually they got married. Now, when they got married, the king died. Now, due to her ill health, she gave the instruments of power to Shibinda. So Shibinda also became the ruler of the Lunda kingdom. He introduced the governance system of the Luba kingdom into the Lunda kingdom, and the Lunda kingdom started to prosper. At this time, the two brothers were rulers. One was ruling the Luba kingdom, the other one was ruling the Lunda kingdom. In their marriage, there is a version which says they had a chance of having a son, a male child, whom they named the name Yav. Now, in course of time, Shibinda died. So his son Yav succeeded him, and he became the Mwanti which means Lord Yav. So he was the first Mwanti which Mwanti succession continues down to our time. So when this Mwanti became king, he wanted to unify two kingdoms, the Luba and the Lunda kingdoms. So he had married a lot of wives, and some of the wives he had married were Luba women. And among the Luba women, there was a young woman she was the youngest wife of the greater king Mwantiam. Chembo was not satisfied with a polygamous marriage, so she fled with her son she had with the king, who also named Chembo, and they came to settle in the land called Ilamba or Lamba land. So this is the genesis of the Lamba tribe. So we can build from there onward. Thank you for your attention.